and them getting third place as their best placement, they're still been on the cusp between 9th to 10th place in the overall leaderboards. Now is their opportunity to turn things around, though, Fall. After coming off of that dub, this is definitely one of those squads that like to ramp up with momentum.
And they ramp up indeed. Last chance to do so. We'll see where the zone pulls. Will be another northern zone, or will we go down south? Game number 6 is here. Once again, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, blow it up. Let us know which team you want to perform here in game 6. Is it 100 Thieves, TSM, Space Station, or are you rooting for the young guns or the rookies in BR Demon Season and the like? Let us know who you want to win. Let's go ahead and throw it over for the last time to Vicky Kitty and Spider Tiff.
Thank you so much, Follow. Let's get this started. Our final game here on World's Edge for NA, day number 3, Tiff. And I'm excited after the chaos that we saw go down over on the north side of the map. Now, the question is, are we finally going to see a southern circle? Nope. Nope. No, it's okay. We're still going north. We're still traveling north. You know what World's Edge is telling us, though, Tiff? It's telling us enough of these southern circles. I was so tired of seeing southern circles always landing on top of Lava Siphon. Now we get a bit of that mix-up where this one may not be in Climatizers. A 50-50 came out from Slept On. They take it over Sinus, please. But the tree action has been non-stop since we decided to move over to World's Edge on game number 4.
Psycho over here with 15 bullets and an R301 and a Dream. This is a 2-for-3 contest over here at Tree. Slept On coming out on top. This is what you want to do, but I mean, you're still sitting in 17th place, but you are able to garner yourself some early KP here on World's Edge. And as we saw that ring pull once again towards the north side, just outside of Climatizer this time, all I could think about is that World's Edge is just out here trying to nerf Luminosity and Optic, because those are the teams that are going to fall victim to having to make such a large rotation.
Which is even more impressive to say that Luminosity has been able to get to those final circle positioning so quick with KP in the process of their rotation. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to play this with the circle pulling at least a little closer. If this doesn't pull towards Fragment, we can expect this pulling towards No Name between Survey Camp and Fragment West. As we take a look at the action happening in Landslide, it's going to be Furia chasing down Space Station.
Hey, I do love a good hot pursuit, and Space Station has their eyes set, and you know what? Let's see what they're going to do. They're still like, I'm trying to get out of dodge. I don't want to deal with Furia here in Landslide, but enemy shield's going to be broken on that Watson, but Furia is going to say, you know, we're not going to lose in that chase. We're going to keep on keeping on, grab those materials, maybe craft up some utility, and just play for that end game. And as you can see right here, Watson, let's see, what you going to craft, guy? What you want?
Let's see. Let's find out here. What's in the replicator here for Watson? Getting all the materials that he needs between the shield bats and the medkits, because you saw how quickly they were to chase after Space Station. You would think that Space Station took their cereal milk or something out here because Furio looked hungry. But they also were able to secure this space over in Landslide, which means that they have a beacon to their name, and they denied that information away from Space Station, as Oxygen are also cleaning up on the guard. RKN falling in the middle of the open field where Oxygen Esports was able to pressure them out.
Guard, you okay? This is a very interesting move. We don't usually see the guard going out this early on, so I'm curious. I'm looking at you, Keon. I'm looking at you, Rambo, with that purple shield. How are you going to answer back? You cannot let RKN go down alone. You need to exact your vengeance now.
That's insane here. The guard really need to be able to clean up and get some extra points, because this is one of the more consistent squads that we've kept highlighting in the pre-show. They got number 1 in day number 2, and they're currently sitting in 6 overall, so losing out on a member is definitely not one way they want to end the day for our final game of the day in NA. Algs Esports still sending it forward, though, onto one of the last stragglers of guard.
Yeah, I think our teams to watch at the beginning of the pre-show are kind of washed at this point. It's rather unfortunate, but I love seeing a lot of teams that maybe have not caught the eyes of the world now garnering some attention. And Oxygen Esports utilizing that bubble to find some safety over here in Fragment and get that beacon information available to them, because they kind of need that, right? Because you've got reps just on the outskirts of Fragment, and this is kind of TSM's old home, right? Before they moved, dropped POIs over to Lava Siphon, this used to be their area. They claimed this.
I don't think they miss it, though. Aside from the fact that sometimes you got that beacon, you got that lackluster loot over in Fragment East. Now they can keep control over not only Lava Siphon, but the beacon over there when it does pull in that direction, and a great amount of loot. So TSM says, you know what, we don't miss it, but it's a great rotation point for them, as they're going to try to cut off the rotation of the squad that's taken to the skies. I'm wondering if that's Oxygen who took to the skies with the Skyward Dive.
Yeah, because they've got to go ahead and get that rotation outskirts. Ooh, but a little bit of a Kraber action in the hands of Reps. just trying to fire out some warning shots. The moment you hear that Kraber bullet just kind of zoom by your face, you're just like, all right, now I've got to scatter, find some cover, because now TSM's like, we're still getting that rotation in. It's going to keep obviously pulling just to the north side of Epicenter, because all of these teams are making that long journey throughout the terrain of World's Edge and just setting up shop over here.
Yeah, with so many teams making their rotation to Climatizer, the question is there any space available for them? They see that these buildings have been looted already. TSM do find a home, though, that is available for them to take up shop. So they're going to deny themselves the opportunity of getting beacon for the next circle, since they don't have a beacon nearby here. And you can see the pings from Burrows to see if they can make their next move. But they have a lot better loot to work with than they did in the last game when they went in for an early rotation with the Skyward Dive into Climatizer.
Yeah, and I like that they took the absolute north position with the ring at their back. Similarly, we saw tripods kind of holding this area, but they elected not to go inside the building they landed on, which, you know, after 2 maps in World's Edge of 2 zones up here, I really am happy that you decided to not enter that building, because at this point, I think those buildings are cursed. But let's just jump on to FaZe. You know, they had already tweeted out, second, we don't want to have it's not a fluke, right? We're here to show out, but they're currently sitting in 19th place, Vicky.
Yeah, and they need all the KP that they need, as well as the placements, because they have not gotten a single good placement, really. And I just got to call it out as it is, because at the moment, FaZe is sitting in overall 19th place, with their best placement being 14th place. They don't want to replicate that with 19 squads still in the lobby and BR Demons to their north. Meanwhile, they're going to set themselves up in a sandwichy situation, because Fury are coming in on their 6.
Ooh, you gotta watch your 6, because if anyone's gonna go on the aggro, it's going to be his Watson and co. And look at that. You've already forced the Gibby bubble. You're not gonna be able to have that reset. As soon as it eliminates, you're gonna have a 30-second cooldown on that. And Zera gonna go ahead and throw out the black, coupling it out with some Arc Stars. That's gonna be absolute decimation, but no one got sucked in, and they were able to destroy it quick enough.
They destroyed it so quick, but we got to talk about the placement of that black hole. If that actually did not get destroyed as quickly as it did from FaZe, props to them for recognizing how bad of a situation it would have been in for them, and they immediately got rid of it. But it was nice option coverage right there from Furia. They see that the black hole didn't work out for them, so instead of engaging on the other squad that's on the other side of the train tracks, that would have been the green light for FaZe to find a way to third party. They're just going to disengage instead. They're going to hold on to the northern side of Fragment West to see if they can get information off of the beacon that's off to the right.
Close range.
I think it's really smart when you can acknowledge what a bad fight is going to look at. And everyone has played competitive on World's Edge for so long that they know getting stuck inside those tunnels on the outside of Survey Camp is not where you want to find yourself. You do not want to ever take a fight in there, especially against Furia with a black hole ultimate available to them. But TSM right now holding this donut building, just prepped and ready. So many donuts. We kept talking about donuts, and I'm just like, I don't think I've had dinner yet, Vicky. And now I'm starving.
Yeah, no, my dinner is watching these other squads pick up the KP. It's okay. At least one of us is feasting out here. But we need to see if TSM can feast themselves, because they're sitting overall in 8th place. They got 33 points to their name, and Rev still has a Kraber in his hands. Well, they are going to be able to restabilize inside of this building. This is the same situation that we saw Luminosity in when they forced their way to get this building out of the hands of Atlanta Premier, and then they were cut off in the middle of the rotation where they were forced to be out in the open once the circle closed in. So let's hope that this doesn't end up being the same case for TSM in the next 40 seconds.
Yeah, what's going to be tough is we saw Furia kind of rotating out of that tunnel through Survey Camp. We saw FaZe early on make that disengage, so they could be following up behind them, which would put them in the nearby vicinity of TSM. So should anyone want to chow TSM for their positioning, you've got to keep an eye out. But luckily, they do have that Seer in the team composition to make sure no one's coming their way. And Luminosity, it's always Yanya with that charge rifle kind of peeking through the windows, and they're just inside a fragment. It's like kind of restaurant building. I like their positioning, holding it down on the very outskirts. You mentioned they like to play edge, and yeah, they haven't found any eliminations just yet, but there's no need to rush. They have 12 points on the second place team, so they just need to go the distance here.
Yeah, they could take their time, and there's 19 squads left here still. They also note that this other squad is situating themselves inside of the building right next door. Gonna neighbor down real quick as we see ESA in the middle of their rotation are transcending through No Name. Wondering if there's a beacon here for them to work with. I don't think I saw a beacon here. I think the beacon actually is still over by Fragment instead. So ESA don't have that information, so they could be transcending towards Fragment to see if they could at least take control of that beacon. If not, then they may need to look at a different approach, because the next beacon after that inside the circle is going to be Epicenter.
Jumping on board with ESA, you've got Phony, Capra, and the new addition in Luda. So, loving what we've been seeing for them. They've found themselves nestled into that top 3 position, but they are not safe. You mentioned that game number 5 was your favorite. Well, game number 6 is going to be mine, and Furia going all in on the action. This time it's a black hole coming their way, and Zera trying to get an Arc Star in for some damage. They are going to find some success as that Ordnance does connect, but now you've got a Gibraltar ultimate coming your way on FaZe. That's gonna be theirs, and they're just trying to keep Furia off their backs once again.
Oh, it's the bombardment that does it for me, and you know when that bombardment comes down, that's gotta be Albert Lately, but he gets beat from the side. Furia now making their appearance from the high ground. They're looking to contest FaZe, and now they're gonna be able to clean them up. They go down in 19th place. They don't go through with their curse in terms of placement all day today. Unfortunate end to FaZe, as they're gonna have to bow their heads after a pretty tough day number 3 for NA.
It's one of those moments where it's like you just cut your losses and GG go next. You come back stronger. You don't let one bad day set you apart and determine what you have. But now, coming on board, Luminosity, your current lobby leaders, it's slept on the other side of this engagement. They're just kind of nestled on the outskirts of the window, trying to get some early damage on the boat. Oh, let's see how this black hole goes. Gonna couple it with some thermites, and now just all the damage going down onto Luminosity.
Oh, I know Bo is mad about that one. That quick shield swap here from Luminosity, I know they gotta hit them with the quickness, but taking it off angle here is Karma, and it's not gonna be enough because Luminosity counter-rotated around this building. An amazingly played fight there from Luminosity to get themselves out of a bad, disadvantageous position with the quick shield swaps, with the quick resets, and now they're gonna be able to bunker down with the caustic trap so that way they could reset their health.
I mean, Luminosity just absolutely punished Slept On for even thinking that they could chow them in that building, and they're just going to show you why they are at the top of the leaderboard here today. And speaking of the top of the leaderboard, we may have a shakeup. Season themselves going to go down in, I believe, 16th place, so ESA going to find some success and can find themselves either in first or second. And look at Luna taking the grab lift up and decimating Nick Mercs.
Knock, knock. Bet you weren't expecting me coming up on a gravity lift. This is beautiful here from Esports Arena. Let's jump into a quick listening from ESA while Luda falls incredibly low.
Holding that team or what?
I'm not
Can
kidding.
you just step back south? Horizon on me, just playing by yourself, medding. She's trying to finish me.
I'm not kidding. We can
you're
drop
off?
if you want.
It's not worth it, it's not worth it.
He's on the
Zone's
open, on the
closing.
open.
Zone's closing, you need to get out. Yes. Zone's closing, you need to get out. Literally just drop down and you're good.
I'm going to the truck. I'm going this way.
Zone's not, truck's not good. Okay, yeah.
I have to go under.
I just play that. Play inside too. Play inside too if you have to.
Oh no, not like this. Not when you decide to jump down for some cover. You can hear the shock in Capra and Luda's voice when Tripods with just Deed alive jumped up on top of him. I could only hear the comms going in from Nick Mercs. You're just better, Deeds. You're just better. You gotta come up from that. He isn't able to recover the banners, but it's a W that he's willing to take with all the shield swaps in the world and a lot of the loot that he could work with. He needs it. He had limited ammunition with the charge rifle. I'm wondering if he's gonna swap out that gun. And Luminosity Gaming, as we take a look at where they're positioned right now on the high ground, they definitely got whiff of the fight that just happened right underneath them. But do they know it's just Deeds from Tripods up and live?
I haven't recovered from that Deeds vengeance. He just avenged Nick Mercs and Jen and just came in with a Thanos snap inside that tube, but Luminosity still leading the charge here now, going to be probably uncontested for the top of the leaderboard unless 100 Thieves and BR Demons puts up a stellar game here in game number 6, and LG just looking so strong and dominating.
Oxygen trading once again with Guard. This time, though, it's Oxygen that get eliminated. Guard, the last game, had tried to get a trade off of Oxygen, and it just spelled their demise. Luminosity still on the high ground, like we were mentioning before, Tip, and they got the beamage with the charge rifle. Sometimes all you need is a little two-scope, but you gotta watch out who's behind you. It's Optic Gaming putting in the pressure between themselves, the G7, and their own charge rifle.
Yeah, this is going to be a great fight for Optic Gaming. You can see they're just kitted out absolutely. They have the G7 scouts at their disposal for those mid-range fights. And the moment you start putting those shots connecting together, the G7 scout will just absolutely wreck an enemy in lieu. So I think that's what they need to do. Just play these rocks, throw out the missile swarms, kind of stun your opponent if you have that ability. But they're a little bit split. And I kind of like this from Nock, trying to get a cheeky angle, but unable to really find some success. They're going to drop down to the low ground, join up with Skittle and Dupe, and you know, maybe just keep on keeping on. 12 squads remaining and looking really strong.
Yeah, I love how you highlighted the G7. That's my favorite gun. And with the crossfire that Optic Gaming like to go for the different angles that they communicate to hold, so that way one teammate could actually be the insurance for the other teammate just in case. It's always nice to see those comms go into fruition for Optic Gaming. They take to the skies as Luminosity are in a fight where they're playing at a disadvantage. They're playing off the low ground right now, and Optic Gaming taking to the skies actually may just land right next to Luminosity. They got to be careful because that's C9 right on top of Luminosity.
Hey, you said playing from the low ground, but one grab lift away from having a god tier positioning on the team in their lineup site. And look at the difference. Jaguar is going to find that knock onto Onmu, and this is just going to be an absolute decimation of 100 Thieves, and this is not what you want after coming out on top in map 5.
Absolutely not. I also saw Vayne actually land on top of Luminosity as TSM in this intense fight with Reps still holding on to the Kraber. They're playing off the low ground. Originally, I thought it was C9 that was close together with Luminosity, but it was actually originally 100 Thieves before another squad ended up taking control over that Pride Rock. Sentinels now in more trouble. They may not have lost out on that 50-50 because they didn't dare take that 50-50, but they lose out on their lives as they fall in 11th place. The bow check coming out of nowhere from Panders.
A little bit of Katniss Everdeen action, getting kind of feisty. You know it's going to be an area of destruction if Furia enters one of these buildings, and you can see that TSM that was recently nestled underneath trying to get a reset, but Watson's not going to allow that to happen. So much damage coming out. Meanwhile, Panders is going to heal, and Watson on that Seer, throwing out the tactical, not going to let anyone get away from them.
I'm having so much deja vu right now. This is the same building I'm pretty sure Furia and TSM had fought before. Optic Gaming moved in for a third party. I don't expect that to happen this time around because of a different positioning that Optic is in, but TSM get funneled outside this building and get deleted. Furia with their name on top. Optic as well with some more picks themselves. It's going to be on to Luminosity now playing off the low ground. They're playing at a disadvantage. I believe they're still dealing with the fact that 100 Thieves is still contesting them.
Yeah, it's just Jaguars last alive, trying to find just a sliver of cover to be able to go ahead and re-shield up. You're running a little bit low on resources. This is your last bat. You have 3 shield cells remaining, and if you don't find something in a nearby loot box, you're going to be all you wrote.
Yeah, that's Optic Gaming that actually helped out Jaguares at the very end right there. They took out the last member of 100 Thieves while still maintaining that high ground positional advantage. Optic Gaming are going to back up. They're not even going to fully send it on that one last straggler. But with the Seer Tactical, they have all the information that they need to know that there is that Solas playing off their left.
This is a moment. Optic Gaming holding this high ground is going to be such a key to success, and they just need to make sure that they eliminate everyone because they're getting so much information here. Dupe just making sure, hey, giving all the calls out for the team. Yeah, they let Luminosity Straggler go out, but this is going to be all they wrote because enemy is going to find them, say, hey, you're done, you're out. 4 squads remaining, and Optic Gaming making it to the endgame circle is what we are used to seeing, but not today. This is the first time where they are garnering some good position and just throwing down all the damage.
This is the Optic Gaming that I'm used to seeing. This is the god spot that I need them to be in amazing shots, not only with the G7, but with the missile storm from Noct. And with the Optic Gaming being one of the 4 remaining, we gotta highlight C9 on the other side. Atlanta Premier, Furia meeting them on the other side of the train tracks. All these teams right now playing at different corners of this final circle.
Ooh, it's just going to be a matter of how this is going to pull, and Optic Gaming is going to be able to hold this high ground for a little bit longer, I believe, but the moment they get forced to jump, they're going to go into the open arms of C9. Everyone's going to have an LOS on them, but Cloud9, this should be the moment where people turn their eyes on them because they don't have a lot of health. Rocker within a centimeter trying to just nestle themselves into this rock to re-shield up, and the teammates are essentially body blocking.
He really wanted that thermite finish off. I know he did. He got the knock, but he can't get the finish. His Optic Gaming are making sure to keep them at bay right now. They're going to continue on the pressure from this high ground off of this Pride Rock, but they are not going to be giving up this space. Even with Duplex having this limited ammunition, he's just going to stay put, but he has to remember that that G7 doesn't have a lot to work with right now.
Yeah, they just have to bide their time. Once we get into these kind of scenarios in the end game, we've seen it throughout the entirety of the day. It's the team that can withstand the chaos for as long as possible and force the other teams to kind of duke it out. That's how you find success. Meanwhile, it's going to be Atlanta Premier putting the nail in the coffin for Furia. 3 squads remaining. It's going to be Cloud9. It's going to be Atlanta Premier, and it's going to be Optic Gaming, and they're still holding the God spot.
And they're not going to give it up anytime soon. Remember, they are juggling G7s like it is a circus, and they are the clowns here to provide all the entertainment. Instead, this time, they're also the MVPs. C9, though, getting the knocks down below is still not going to deter Optic Gaming from giving up this space. They need to wrap around. They need to get right behind C9, and now they're looking to infiltrate. They're looking a third party from the high ground.
And now you see it. Optic Gaming trying to make a last stand here. Cloud9 was able to get Atlanta Premier out, and this is going to be spicy. And then Optic Gaming finally showing up here in map number 6 today. This is what they needed, Vicky. This is the Optic Gaming that you know and love.
Yep, this is the green wall going up better late than never because they definitely needed that dub.